Hello beautiful, this is Lynda Gaiao, empowering you to successfully live your design. The transit that comes in every week, as you start tuning into it, you really start noticing the frequency of the energy of the different gates that happen approximately every 6 days. In this week, today is the 16th of July 2020, and about 4 days ago, gate 62 came into the transit, and it essentially maps the energy frequency that's coming in from the planets and everything around us and has an influence on what's going on. If you have gate 62 already active in your chart, then you may feel an increased amount of energy in this particular space. And if you don't have it active in your chart, you will feel this energy that you don't maybe normally feel around you. And with all the gates, you know, there's a gate on one side and a gate on the other side, and sometimes you might have the one side, and when the transit comes in, it kind of joins the energy between two of them. And all of this creates different dynamics for us as we diving into living our unique design and really being empowered to be successful at doing that. So when we look at gate 62, it's called the gate of details. And essentially what this gate is really good at doing is organizing all the facts and the details and everything, and really being able to help us to better understand that and explain these concepts, these complex ideas and concepts and situations in an easy to understand way. And it's a very logical gate, so it helps us by taking all of this information and really bring it down into a logical concept that's really tangible for us, so that we are able to access it. And then what we can do is we can try and repeat it, we can test it, we can validate it, or we can disprove it, whichever comes forward. So if you've got this gate, then you're going to notice that you've got this knack for really looking at a lot of details across a lot of different things and bringing this all into an easy to understand concept that people can actually get a hold of and do something with. Part of what happens in the process of taking something, you know, that's out there, it's kind of like a visual idea, and bringing it into a word or a concept or an idea that can be expressed, is by giving it a name. And this is one of the biggest ways that we as a human society, humanity in a larger context, is able to share their human experiences. So we take all of the stuff and we give it a name, and then that name helps us to share whatever we've experienced. There's a voice, because this gate is in the throat center, or communication and action in the BG5 system, and the voice of this particular gate says, I think, right? I think this, or I think that, or I don't think that. And it's really designed to name and concretize and communicate a visual pattern. Another thing about this particular gate is that it needs to be invited, because it's a projected channel. And essentially what that means is, if you have this gate and you kind of have all of these ideas, and all you want to do is keep sharing, you know, these concepts and these ideas, like naming them, but you just do it with whoever comes into your space, what will happen is a lot of what you share will be rejected. So the idea here is that you need to be invited. You've got to kind of wait for someone to say, hey, what do you think about this particular thing? And then you tune into the energy, you know, is this correct for you? Is this the right person for you? And if it is, that's where you can share. Now, one of the things that I found quite interesting is that when we consider facts, figures, statistics, and all of those types of things, it's very easy for us to use facts and figures to lie, to essentially spread dishonesty or distruth, because it can be really biased or swung according to someone's particular agenda. Now, there's a quote from someone called Scott Adams, and I'm not going to read the exact quote to you, but I'm going to give you kind of my synthesis of the quote. And essentially what he was saying is that scientists, when they have holes in their understanding of new concepts or new ideas, actually invent words to fill the gaps in these holes of their understanding. And the words are meant for a convenience, a placeholder for when they actually are able to get a real understanding, when they're able to discover the real understanding. But the problem that happens is that very often those words, those placeholders, don't ever get replaced. They kind of just take on a life of their own, and no one actually remembers that they were invented just or intended just to be a placeholder. So I think we need to be really careful about people spewing out facts, ideas, figures, and saying that they are truth, right? Because ultimately, the only real truth is the truth that we have within us. So right now in the current times, you see that there's a lot of facts, figures, and information being thrown at us from different organizations and governments and the media, and those facts and figures can often send us into fear and anxiousness, and we really need to be very careful. Is this truth? Is this truth for me? And the ultimate overarching energy of 2021 is about inner truth, about going within and saying, I'm an individual, unique being that has power, and if I'm one to know where to move with this information that I've received, I need to go inside and trust that part of me that actually knows the way. So what I mentioned earlier on is every gate has a gate on the other side. So the gate on the other side of 62 is gate 17, and that's in the conceptualizing, or in the ajna center, this place where we actually forms the channel between the two. And it's called the channel of acceptance. And this is a design of an organized being or organizational beings. So 17 is the ability to structure a concept, and 62 is taking the details into a tangible, meaningful, and understandable concept. So the two work really well together. The one structures it and the other one's able to express it in some way that people can actually understand. When you've got the whole channel, there's this eye for great detail and being able to see and understand the patterns, and then knowing how those patterns can be improved. This channel really can back up its opinions with the facts and the details. So it's not just a whole bunch of opinions, but no facts and details to back it up. And it's got this gift for organizing information that has been substantiated by the facts. So if you've got this whole channel, or perhaps you've got one side of it, you have the 17 and the 62 is active at the moment, that's going to give you access to that energy at the moment. So if you really start noticing how the details are, maybe there's a lot of details in your space at the moment, and you're trying to sift through them and figure out how it all works. And the other thing I would say is, have you noticed where you're able to take detail at the moment and break it down into something that's really tangible and understand, and something that you can understand? The other thing I would like to mention as well is when we use a word to have a description of a visual concept or something that's coming through, the word in itself doesn't really give us the depth of experience of what it truly means. So as an example, if we take the word love, and I just see the word love written on a poster or on a board, the word itself, just as it is, really has no meaning. And even if somebody shares the word with me, there's this potential that they communicate an energy behind that word. And there's obviously been some research where they've taped words on the outside of water and then frozen that water and watched the crystals that it builds. And love is one of the words that builds the most amazing crystals. So yes, love does contain a frequency, a vibration to it, but it doesn't contain the depth of understanding of what that word means. That comes through our own experience or through our own learning and diving into a word. So just being careful about the words that we put out there and the words that other people share with us. And just when you get the facts or the figures or the information or the concepts delivered to you, not taking them at face value, or even taking them based on the experience of that person that's sharing them with you, but then jumping into it for yourself and testing and validating and really using that as an opportunity to anchor into, what does this mean for you? What is the truth in it for you? What is the experience in it for you? And being really careful about who we're listening to, right? Where are these facts and figures coming from? Where's, who, if someone else is taking the details and summarizing it into a word or a format, we don't want to just take that on face value and just accept that as our truth. We really need to dive in for ourselves and get to a place where we understand it for us. And I think that's pretty much... Oh, one of the things that I'll perhaps share about the 62, what I've noticed this week, is a sense of, for myself, I've noticed how I really am able to notice the details and really synthesize and simplify and get very creative out of that. Definitely feel this need for expression, and expression isn't only about words, like it can be written words, verbal words, but I'm noticing it coming out into the written form, where I'm able to take like one idea that's, maybe this really simple thing, and go into the depth of it and really pull out all these different strings of creativity and meaning that have come out of that for me. So I'd be really watching this week, where's your creative energy? Are you feeling this need for expression? Are you watching other people's expression? Where are you able to take all the details and really narrow it down into something simple? And then being very careful when someone else is doing that you don't just accept it on face value, that you really dive into that for yourself and come to this place of inner truth for you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Please comment and share any of your experiences as you watch this gate 62 and its energy in this week. And you can reach me on my website if you've got any questions, or you would like to learn any more about this. I hope you have an awesome day. Bye for now.